Okay, so one of the things that all amateur golfers want to do is increase their club head speed and start hitting the ball maybe a bit further than what they currently are, or maybe just further than the people that they're playing with. It's a bit of an egotistical thing, but equally, the further you can hit the golf ball, the easier the game's going to become. So obviously you're hitting less clubs into greens, and what we know is that obviously it's easier to hit a pitching wedge straight than an 8-iron. Easier to hit an 8-iron than it is a 5-iron. So distance is a pivotal part of the game, and we're seeing that very much on the tour at the moment, that it's not necessarily always just about complete accuracy. Distance is a huge part of it equally. And that doesn't mean that you want to necessarily be erratic either. What we're going to be talking about today is the fundamental thing that will increase your club head speed. We're going to have a little go with some of these common training aids as well, you know, popular for club head speed, feeling, timing and release. We're going to see what sort of effect that these have. Now, as an active measure, so we can see roughly where I am at in terms of my club head speed at this moment in time, we're going to use just a simple swing radar system. The reason why, as opposed to using a ball Doppler, I suppose, is that they're more accessible to people when they're practicing. So I think that one of the morals behind today's story will be very much that, well, if you want to increase your club head speed, then you're going to have to train to increase your club head speed. It's not necessarily just going to happen all on its own. So we're going to hit a few shots, see where I am at, talk about the thing that's actually going to increase your club head speed in terms of the swing component, have a go with some of these training aids, and then see upon conclusion how much I can increase my club head speed after all of the above. So I'm not exactly sure how accurate the radar system is relative to a ball Doppler, but at the same token it will still be relative for today's experiment, whether it's slightly above or below where maybe a true club head speed would be. So I'm just going to hit a few shots, pretty normal in terms of how I would normally play, and then see what kind of club head speed I'm at. Okay, so 4 swings, reading on the radar system at the moment at 113, I believe, 113, 114, 114. Consistent in the system. I think, you know, when I last measured my club head speed, maybe more about the 110 miles per hour mark from memory. Maybe it's increased or maybe that's slightly out. But again, for the point of today's experiment, it is incredibly consistent. So where does club head speed come from? The biggest component for club head speed is going to be how your shoulder works and relative to what would be known as lag, if you like, your wrist cock in space. So effectively, if I kind of swung up to the top, I start to sequence my downswing with a rotational movement. So you can see the way my shoulder starts to work very much horizontally very early on in the downswing. What this does is it means that I'm not pulling my lead arm down, it's naturally falling down due to the rotation of this shoulder working in that direction. Now the benefit of this is it basically means I can hold on to this angulation, which is wrist cock, for longer. Now the longer I can hold on to this wrist cock motion like so and then deliver it later is going to create much more of a whipping sensation in terms of how the club head strikes the ball. As opposed to, let's say, I didn't sequence my golf swing like this, and let's say I started to pull down first. Well then what would start to happen is that this angulation here is going to widen much quicker, which is going to slow you down. So for something like pitching, that is a mechanism that you would be using, because obviously you're not looking for club head speed, you're actually trying to take it away to take some of the distance off. But if you're interested in doing this further, then really it's very much about the transition, making it feel very rotary. And then coming into the hit, you want to make sure that shoulder is going back up and behind you in space so that it can exert the energy through towards the bottom part of the golf swing. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to get stuck in like this, because that's going to hamper you into your distance. You want that shoulder going back up and behind you. So then the question would be, how useful do training aids like this become? Now, one of the training aids which I would advocate is the G-force training aid, based on the fact that you can actually hit the golf ball with it. My hesitation with these sometimes, and we'll see this today, is that obviously you can swing this quicker, or feel like you're swinging it quicker at least, relative to your golf club. but you don't have to worry about timing the club face square. So quite often people will end up swinging it like this. Well, that's no good because the club face would be at a right angle to where you're aiming. But nevertheless, let's do a few swings with this. And all I'm going to be doing at the moment, as you can see, is getting this feeling of really pulling the shoulder up and behind me. That will therefore create much more of an extension. You'll see during this next little fast forwarded clip, so I won't be able to talk whilst doing it, much more this way coming into the hip. I'm going to do this for kind of 10 minutes or so, or as much as I can, and then remeasure my club head speed and see if there's any improvement. Okay, so to improve your club head speed basically is the relationship of the lead arm in things like the lag and how this is working in space. For this to be able to be delayed, shall we say, you need the sequence of the lower body coming in towards the hit as well. So it's pretty much a holistic thing. I suppose the point is, can you improve your club head speed? The answer is yes, but similar to what you've seen in today's video, over a short period of time, and I'm talking less than 10 minutes, you'd have to practice for it. That's what I'm kind of suggesting. How beneficial are these? Well, I suppose it depends if you know what you're looking for. If you're out of today's video, and as we'll talk about this moving forward, if you can understand the sequence of events and then pulling the shoulder up and behind you to allow the club release, then maybe you'll get the feedback solely with the golf club. What I would suggest, as I've suggested before, is maybe take a lightweight object and just swing it lead arm only in the garden, and you'll hear the kind of swooshing effect. If you're struggling, then I'm not suggesting these are a bad thing, right? These are definitely something that's going to give you some sort of feedback in terms of the weight distribution and then also the whippiness on some of these as well. So they're worth thinking about if you're struggling with what to do. The general consensus out of this video would be, of course you can improve your club head speed, but you would have to practice with the intention of trying to increase your club head speed. I wouldn't necessarily make the assumption that if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're naturally going to increase the speed. You can increase it, like we saw today. I wouldn't say as an average rating because of the discrepancies of when I got the sequencing horribly wrong as I was trying to hit it possibly too hard, but you can improve it, and I'm sure that if it was something that you were desperate for, getting something like a radar system and possibly some sort of training aid to help you get the feeling of the release of club head speed would be more beneficial than just going maybe down the driving range. You need a point of reference as to whether you're getting any quicker for that feedback. Some of those swings I did, again, how accurate that is, we don't need to go down that route in this video. It's just a generalized theme as to how you can improve your club head speed, but there were definitely a few swings where I felt like I was moving quicker, looked down at it and realized I wasn't. So that perception and reality eludes all of us. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Always appreciate a thumbs up and a like. Remember, it's absolutely free to press that subscribe button. If you're going to do so, press the little bell icon. That means you'll receive notifications every time a new video comes out. Catch up with you again soon.